It was the ancient Romans who first decided that taking wheeled vehicles into a combative arena was a good move. The warriors on board would attempt to get over the line first, ahead of their opponents, and in doing so they might have killed a few of them along the way. This is very similar in many ways here at the Electro-Thrust Power Speedway, hosted by me, Colonel Failure, on VHSX. We've got a couple of races for you lined up today, with a pair of Germans going head-to-head, and then a pair of Brits taking on one another in what is sure to be a showdown for the ages, worthy of Caesar, worthy of the games, worthy of the arena. So first up in the DBBR 442, we've got a driver named Mr. P. It's a beefy train, and he'll be going head-to-head against Megasim, who is driving the special edition version of the DBBR 442. And we're underway for our first race of the afternoon. Mr. P on your left, taking on Megasim on the right. As if you couldn't guess, he's rather gone to town there on the branding of his train, and well, that's fair enough. I mean, I suppose if you feel like doing that, then go for your life. This is our first pairing of German locos that are going out head-to-head here on the Electro-Thrust Power Speedway, and Megasim has opted not to show his speedometer throughout. You could argue that that is in some way cheating, but it does give me a little less to talk. I mean, look at this. Look at the acceleration you've got going on there. It's like you dropped it off a cliff. Anyways, coming around the first corner and heading through the grandstand area as it heads towards Python. Python, of course, is named after a snake. Yeah, there you go. The Mr. P now entering Python as well, as Megasim comes out with his first split time, a 1:02.08, which is pretty respectable. Now we're going to head pretty quickly through the Chubby's Revenge, and that will then lead to the trots, which is the first opportunity to really build the speed up. But that's gonna largely depend on exactly how much torque you've got. We'll have the first whistle board coming up for Megasim any moment, and remember, anytime you miss a whistle board, here we go. Yep, that was hit, and the crowd goes wild. Yeah, anytime you miss a whistle board, there's a 5-second penalty, and when you're as close together as these two contestants are, well, they're not really, are they? No, but they should be. And especially since the top-rated speed for these particular trains is 99 miles per hour. We'll probably get a little bit beyond that, because top-rated means absolutely nothing when it comes down to it. Now, you may also notice that it appears as though Mr. P is moving significantly slower. That is purely a piece of camera effect going on there. Turning on motion blur gives a far greater sense of the speed that you're doing, as you can see from Megasim over on the right there. I'm reliably informed that, well, my reliable guess here is that he's not actually going that much faster, despite it appearing that he's going like the clappers, while Mr. P is proceeding rather like an arthritic dog that only has 3 legs and has lost basically all of his bite at that point. It's very sad for the dog, but it's a metaphor, friends, a metaphor. That's what we're doing. Anyway, Megasim now coming up on the end of the trots. We'll be heading through the build-up as he heads towards checkpoint 2, and there are numerous whistle boards here. In fact, he's just gone past checkpoint 2. Clearly hitting the whistle boards every time along the way. You know what? You know what'd be good? If you could hear it. If you could hear the whistle a little bit more. There's another whistle board just gone past there as Mr. P passes through one as well. Okay, it's all good. Anyway, 3:03.11 for Megasim. He's on for a good time at the moment. I don't mean that in a party kind of a sense. I mean in the sense of his driving quite effectively. Mr. P doing a 3:12.26, which is also a pretty good time. Obviously not quite as fast. No. Megasim now well into hammer down, which is the last opportunity that drivers get to max out their top speed. A little bit of down bubble helps them to get the most out of the train. Yeah, it's very nice looking at the train, but it would be lovely to be able to see how fast you were actually going, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be lovely? You can also see the slight difference in approach between the two drivers, as Mr. P is opting to zoom right in there and glare menacingly through the windscreen, whereas Megasim is soaking it. He's using every camera angle known to man. He's doing it all. He's going like, no, this is not sophisticated enough for me to deal with that. Anyway, Mr. P now moving through Mr. Wiggles. Obviously, Megasim went through there a moment ago, and the final whistle board. And it's always good to get them all. Neither driver having incurred any faults along the way. Megasim, however, is coming up on the final hurlong. Yes, it's a measurement. A hurlong is a measure. That was the final whistle board. Oh yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, the final hurlong, and we'll be heading down towards the finish line where he's going to be aiming for a top-notch speed. Jenny Agata looms into view. We pass underneath, and that means we're almost there. Time is now against the clock, isn't it? Because that's where you would expect time to be, is somewhat in proximity to the clock. And coming up on the Happy Eater, and Megasim crosses the line, 5:33.06. That's pretty quick. Saying that, Mr. P is no slouch either, and he gets the job done in 5:43.22. The start of the race there, clearly vital in establishing some early momentum. But there will be a steward's inquiry to see exactly what Megasim had done to the train there to juice it up that little bit more. It seemed to me that both drivers had gripped it, ripped it, and never looked back. Well, actually, Megasim looked all over the place, so maybe that helped. Maybe it was just giving it a bit of a dab of sand all the way. Perfectly legitimate tactic, you understand? But it's not one that is illegitimate. No. Anyway, on to race 2, and the British are back. The Class 66 here, a diesel hauling 5 empty wagons, being driven by Codus, and it's going up against a Class 66. A very even race, this one. No difference either side. Melvin taking out the second train, and we're both underway at the same time. Codus there slapping it into notch 4. Just a little bit ahead of time, maybe a second or two before Melvin did, and you can see already that there is a difference in speed between the two of them. He's now put it in a notch 8. That's the stuff. He's going wheel slip, not for me, pal. No, not interested. But he's got almost 10 miles an hour head start on Melvin, who's driving in a slightly more conservative fashion in order to save the tyres, presumably. I don't know, save the railhead. He's got some kind of performance bonus if he drives. Oh, they've both gone for external cameras at the same time. And of course, then you chicken out and you get back inside to make sure you're going to handle the transition from the grandstand to the bait and switch, which is arguably the most taxing part of the course. Here we go. Codus going through there now at 55 miles an hour. Melvin, earning some cheeky points there, demonstrating that actually this is probably his first time out in a Class 66. He hasn't bothered turning the lights on. He's got no idea what's going on instrumentally, but that's okay, because this has got a vocal part. Anyway, Codus through the first checkpoint, 1:16.18, pretty good, not great. But these trains can go very fast. Codus has turned his speedometer off while he, undoubtedly juices the electrics a little bit to try and get it going a bit faster. Melvin 1:22.12. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad as he piles through Chubby's Revenge there, and we'll be coming up on the first checkpoint pretty quick. No, we've done not checkpoint, whistleboard, penalty opportunity, opportunity for. Oh, okay. So yeah, Codus didn't miss that. Zoomed right in, and blasted away on the horn. But obviously, because he's got the windows closed, you can barely hear it. That said, I've still got the little bit of speedometer camera up there, just in case he opts to switch it back on again. If it comes back up, we'll all be thrilled. But if it doesn't, then just enjoy a slightly alternate perspective on life, which is a dream for all of us. Anyway, where are we now? Oh, I don't know. We're somewhere or other. Okay, that's good. That was Chubby's Revenge. Chubby's Revenge is after the first checkpoint, you clown. You had a map drawn and everything. Yeah, I know, but it's fluid, isn't it? It's more of a district than it is one set place. Speedometer's back on. Codus there currently rocking it at 92 as he heads down the trots. And Melvin will quickly hit that speed. So there you go, 92. Getting a fair lick of speed going right now. Those 442s that we saw previously, however, they were topped out somewhere between 99 and 108. So you know, you need to drive a bit faster, lads. I don't know what you can do to make that happen, but you should. You should make it happen. Anyway, Codus now coming up on Kropotkin's harpsichord. It's a harpsichord owned by Kropotkin. So called, of course, for its lilting musicality, as you whistle past multiple whistleboards, honking away as you go. The first whistleboard there being the next checkpoint, and that's a 3:32.12 for Codus. Meanwhile, Melvin is getting up a fair lick of speed. He's throwing 3:41.04, but he's up to 110 miles an hour and climbing. Neither driver missing any of the penalty opportunities. So, well, I mean, unless one of them does, then it's track finishing position that makes all the difference. But hey, it's all good. It's all fine. And as you can see from Melvin's view, who has very decently left the distance to finale for us there. He's got a mile to go. We're in the last mile. He's up to 117 miles per hour now. That is significantly faster than those lightweight German numbers were able to handle. And you have to wonder, is it because the solid state nature of diesel gives it a little bit more thrust? No, probably not. It's more likely to be down to the fact that it's got a bigger engine and fewer safety systems and a lunatic behind the wheel. Here's Codus. He's now coming out of Hammerdown, going through Mr. Wiggles, which puts him into the final straight. Well, I say straight. It's not that straight. Melvin now heading through Mr. Wiggles as well. That's an easy one to remember. That one. Old Wiggles gets the whistle board. No faults for either driver. That's fine. I think when we revisit this notion, as we surely will, then we may consider something where you have to slow down once in a while. Now, there are trains, I am reliably informed, that would have to slow down on this track, but it's not these ones. No, not these ones at all. Anyway, Codus coming up on Agata, sails underneath it, and we'll be heading for the finish line. 5:35, 36, 37. It's a good time, but it's not going to be a world beater, but it could be enough for a top 3 placement on the leaderboard. We'll have to find out in a moment. 5:45.15. Pretty good, given how slowly these trains accelerated to begin with. You'd have to say that's not bad. No, because it genuinely isn't. Melvin there coming at 5:59, just under the 6-minute mark, and that's second place. Yeah, second. See, that's a little bit slower. Anyway, let's check out the overall leaderboard now, with 10 drivers having completed their run here at the VHSX Pro-Am Sprint, and Megasim is now top of the leaderboard in its 442 with 5:33. Mr. P in second, also in the 442, but only just doing it, pipping Mr. Bradders there. Muck Bradders. It might be a Mister. I can honestly tell you. Codus in third, but ever so slightly, almost beating the 377. Only 14 hundredths of a second behind McBradders there. Melvin only managed 7th place with his 5:59. And that puts him ahead of the drivers who incurred penalties, of course. And then you've got Mike the T-Boy Grantee, Ulysses, Failure rounding out the top 10. With one race to go, well, one recording of multiple races to go in the series, is there still space for a new leader? Will we see another American train, or is the M7 the sole representative of that country and all those who sail in it? I've been Colonel Failure. Thanks very much for watching. Cheerio.